Well, hello and welcome to another Faith, Philosophy and Life. Me, Mr. Shelton. I do hope that you are doing well. Today we are thinking about life as a Hindu, but in order to do that you need to have some idea about what Hinduism is. So what I'd like you to do is just to maybe pick up your phone, put a message in a chat window, WhatsApp someone, Signal, whatever, and just explain, say, I'm doing this lesson, Mr. Shelton. I've learnt this about Hinduism, this unit, and just see what they can tell you as well. And while you're doing that, I'm going to put our cheesy intro music on, and then we're going to get on with the lesson. So let's watch this and let's see what you can remember about Hinduism. Okay, so our title today is Life as a Hindu in Britain. Okay, Life as a Hindu in Britain today. So today we're going to examine how British Hindus may live differently than secular ones today, secular being non-religious. So that's your objective. Please make sure you get your title written down, and as always, do pause me and send everything through to your teachers as you need. It's going to be a good outcome if you can describe how a Hindu might live in Britain today. It's going to be great if you can compare Hindu beliefs and practices to a secular person, and even better if you can consider why it would be easy to be a Hindu or not in Britain today, and say why. So our literacy skill is to listen for meaning, and we've got a bit of citizenship because it's all to do with how we work as one big society. During today's lesson then we're going to do a little visual, auditory or kinesthetic activity, a multiple choice task, a mind map, review, and there's a media clip that we're going to finish with for quite a bit of today's lesson. So all you're going to do is you're going to write A, B or C down in your book. This is just to see how we all are. So question 1, when I operate new machinery, I generally, what do you normally do? Do you read it? Do you listen for an explanation? Or do you go give it a go without really looking at anything? So A, B or C? Question 2, when I need directions for travelling, normally what do? Do you look at a map or a GPS, ask for directions, or follow your nose and pretend to be a compass? Question 3, when you cook something new, what do? Do you follow a recipe, call a friend, or follow your instincts and just make it up as you go? I'm not saying any of these are wrong, it's just interesting to see what you think. For question 4, if I'm teaching someone something new, I tend to write instructions down, give them verbal explanation, or demonstrate it and then let them have a go. Question 5, I tend to say, do you watch how to do it? Do you say, listen to me explain, or do you just say, have a go? What do you say to someone if you're trying to teach them something new? Question 6, during my free time I mostly enjoy going to museums and galleries, listening to music, talking to your friends, or playing sport or doing DIY. And if you like doing DIY, please contact me because I would love you to come and do some jobs at my house. That's a joke for any safeguarding officers watching. Number 7, when I go shopping for clothes, I tend to imagine what they'd look like on, discuss them with the shop staff, or try them on to test them out. Question 8. When I'm choosing a holiday, I normally read lots of brochures, listen to recommendations from friends, or imagine what it's like to be there. Question 9. If I'm choosing food off a menu, I tend to imagine what it will look like, talk through the options in my head, or imagine what the food will taste like. Or number 10. When I listen to a new band, I can't help watching the band members and the other people in the audience, listen to the lyrics and the beats, or moving in time with the music. Okay, let's have a quick look on how that works up. So first of all, you need to add up all your A's, B's and C's. If you've chosen mostly A's, you would be known as what we would call a visual learner, someone who learns by seeing. If you're B's, you're an auditory learner, someone who learns by listening. And if you're C's, then you'd be kinesthetic, you learn by doing. Well, the idea of this activity is to show that there's loads of different ways of doing the same thing. And that is true for Hinduism as well. There's many ways to be a Hindu. In the same way we talked about all the different gods with a small g at the start of this unit, and we've been thinking quite a lot about different practices that happen within Hinduism. There's many different ways of doing that within this, and we've still got some more to learn as we go. So there's loads of different ways of doing the same thing, or similar things, should I say, and we're going to look at some of those today. Now, first off, did you know that chicken tikka masala was actually designed in the UK for British palate, and it isn't an Indian dish like many people believe? This is shows the map of the Hindu population in England. Now, I appreciate that it's a little bit small, but you can see there very easily there's a massive density around London. There's a density around Coventry and Birmingham and Leicester. And there's a small density around Manchester and Leeds, Bradford area, but mainly you've got London and the West Midlands of Coventry and Leicester and Birmingham. So I went to school with a lot of children who are Hindus, as I'm from one of those areas myself. Okay, the next one that information wise for you is that after World War II, in 1945, the British government asked workers from India, Pakistan and the Caribbean, sorry, I listen to a lot of American radio, Caribbean, to settle in Britain to help with rebuilding. At this time, India was run by Britain and was considered part of the British Empire, which we no longer have. It transformed into the Commonwealth in many worlds. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch a clip now to find out about life in Britain for Simran and Vraj, and I want you to think about the similarities and differences between their life and your life. Do you share any of the same hobbies? Do you enjoy the same foods? And do you share any of the same beliefs? So I'd like you to watch this and give a go to those 3 bullet pointed questions there for you. So can you make a note of those questions now, because they're not going to remain on the screen? Do you share any of the same hobbies? Do you enjoy any of the same foods? Do you share any of the same beliefs? Let's watch this and then you're going to come back to me.
Let's get to it.
Hi, I'm Simran, and this is my brother Vraj.
Yo, what's up guys?
I'm 14 and my religion is Hinduism.
There we go. Done.
My hobbies are music and photography.
Smile.
I also love playing with my brother. Vraj is 11 and his favourite hobby is taekwondo. We're vegetarian.
This food looks a bit tasty.
It's a big part of being Hindu. We believe God exists in everything, so it's important to respect all living things.
It's really fun being vegetarian because all those dishes, they're so tasty and the spices are nice.
For dinner, we're having pani puri.
You dip it in the mint, then you get some amli, and then
you give it to your sister to eat.
Hindus believe life is a cycle of birth, death and rebirth, and every action we make has an effect, called karma. This means how I live now will impact how I live in my next life on earth. If I'm really good, I hope to be freed from the cycle of rebirth and become one with God. Hindus believe in one God, who exists in everything. It's quite confusing. To help us understand, names, images and qualities are given to millions of gods and goddesses. This makes it easier for me to think about God and helps me focus during worship.
Okay, so there's one more thing to talk about before we move on to our final task, which is I want you to look about the festival of Holi. Now, we've looked at Diwali. Holi is another festival, and this is to do with how the Hindu community celebrate in Leicester. Now, if this link doesn't work, I have put the link next to me there, because sometimes the BBC ones don't embed. So we're going to hopefully watch this now, maybe make a few notes about what happens in Holi, and then you're going to come back to me.
Hi guys, it's Holi today, and we are really excited. We just don't look it because we've just woken up.
Holi marks the start of spring and celebrates new life. It's a fun time for families and the whole community comes together.
Holi is the most exciting festival in the Hindu calendar because you get to throw paint at people.
Whilst the festival is lots of fun, there is an important religious message at the heart of it. During Holi, we celebrate good overcoming evil and remember the story of Prince Prahlad. Prahlada's father, the king, wanted everyone in his kingdom to worship him, but Prahlad refused and worshipped the god Vishnu instead. The king's sister, Holika, had a fireproof shawl, so she tricked Prahlad into sitting on her lap in a bonfire. She wanted to destroy him, but her shawl flew from her and protected Prahlad instead. Her plan failed. Prahlad came through the fire unharmed and Holika was destroyed by the flames. To remember this story, bonfires are lit during Holi. The bonfires purify the air of anything evil.
Hindus have a very great emphasis on fire because fire is thought to be the image of God that we can see.
Offerings such as popcorn, coconut and chickpeas are put into the fire. And people give thanks to God for the elements, without which the crops wouldn't grow.
We're offering something that you've already given to us, God, because if you had not created all this on earth, we wouldn't be able to eat it. So we're thanking you by offering our first crop to you.
The coconut, I'm going to give this in so they can put it into the bonfire, and in return I'm going to get a burnt one.
Holi is also known as the Festival of Colour. People throw coloured paints at one another. It's lots of fun. Some people believe this originates with Krishna, who was a very playful boy, and threw coloured water over milkmaids.
It was really fun. We love running around with our friends and we love throwing colours at each other.
The best thing about Holi is that there are no rules. We're allowed to hit anyone, anywhere.
And you actually won't get told off for it.
God has created colour to make the world a beautiful place to live in. And so colours are thrown saying we need to make our lives colourful. We need to forget and forgive any misgivings we've had in the past, and you move forward.
Each colour represents the virtue of the soul. Red is power, orange is purity, green is love. I'm not sure what colour's on my face, but it feels as though there's a lot of it. Throwing paint at red, it feels good.
I can get her back.
This is where things get a little bit confusing because I'm not able to link some of these in, even though I have tried. So, how are Hindus different than secular people or Catholics, and why do you hold this viewpoint? Would it be easy to hold to be a Hindu, and why? So, what I've got here is I've got links of the things that you've just seen. But then there's also quite a long clip that I'd like you to watch there, which is the number 4 one, http://tiny.cc/fpl-bbc Hindu 4. And if you put that in, that will take you to the rest of the lesson. The clip 2 and clip 3 are linked there for the activities that we've just done, so you can see them again if you want to. And this will give you the information that you need to supplement anything you are doing. Before you do that, let's just do a quick recap. So we said we'd examine how British Hindus may live differently than secular ones today, and again we've talked quite a lot. You've now got quite a lot of information with regards to how that looks and what life is like for Hindus today in Britain. You should be able to, at the end of this, tell 3 people about 4 things about Hinduism, but I'm going to leave that there for you. Make sure that you've got anything done that you need to.
My Life, My Religion, now on BBC Learning Zone, as we meet 14-year-old Simran to find out what it means to be Hindu.
Let's get to it.
Hi, I'm Simran, and this is my brother Raj.
Yo, what's up, guys?
I'm 14 and my religion is Hinduism.
There we go. Done.
My hobbies are music and photography.
Smile.
I also love playing with my brother. Raj is 11 and his favourite hobby is taekwondo. We're vegetarian.
This food looks a bit tasty.
It's a big part of being Hindu. We believe God exists in everything, so it's important to respect all living things.
It's really fun being vegetarian because all those dishes, they're so tasty and the spices are nice.
For dinner, we're having pani puri.
You dip it in the mint, then you get some amli, and then
you give it to your sister to eat.
Hindus believe life is a cycle of birth, death and rebirth, and every action we make has an effect, called karma. This means how I live now will impact how I live in my next life on earth. If I'm really good, I hope to be freed from the cycle of rebirth and become one with God. Hindus believe in one God, who exists in everything. It's quite confusing. To help us understand, names, images and qualities are given to millions of gods and goddesses. This makes it easier for me to think about God and helps me focus during worship. Hinduism is over 4,000 years old. It's made up of lots of different Indian religious traditions and practices. We worship God at home every day.
Absolutely love that statue of him.
We believe in one true God, Brahman, who has millions of qualities. These qualities are represented by millions of different gods and goddesses. Their sacred images are called murtis. When we visit them, we believe we're meeting with God. There are lots of murtis at the mandir. A mandir is a Hindu place of worship. Raj is going to show us around.
when I come to the mandir to worship God, I walk in and ring the bell to awaken God. And then I go to the gods and bow down to them, and I ask for something, or I would thank them for something good that's happened.
We believe in one God who exists in everything. To help us understand, names, images and qualities are given to millions of gods and goddesses.
They say that there's only one because gods are gods, but they've got different qualities, which makes people say that there's loads of gods. For example, if there's a whole bunch of flowers, we would say they're one, or because a flower is a flower and all of them are called flowers, but there's different qualities for them because they're different colors and they smell different. So the same applying with God.
We often choose one God to worship. This God might have the qualities that a person admires or needs in their life. Or it might be the God that a family has worshipped for generations.
The God that me and my family worship is Shiv, and we worship him because he's really special to us and he's the creator of this world. When I've seen how many people he's helped, I've been happy.
Shiv, also known as Shiva, is one of the gods responsible for creation. I visit God at the mandir. It's home to lots of different gods and goddesses. They each have a quality and an image to help us relate to them. For example, if I wanted strength, I might go to the monkey god, Hanuman, or if I wanted intelligence, I'd pray to Ganesh, the elephant god. We worship God by performing a ritual called Arti.
At Arti ceremony, I always feel close to God because we are focusing, we close our eyes, we sing.
Arti is performed every morning and evening. It can be done at the mandir by a priest or by us at home at our shrine. Murtis are the sacred images we use to represent God. The murtis at the mandir are very decorative, but the one that we use at home is much simpler. Both are as important.
It's just like God, and that's why we should take care of it. We should treat it the same way. To worship him, I bathe him and I put some markings on him. During my exams or busy times, the shrine would help me by it would actually get my brain working and focus on my exams. Coming to the shrine makes me calm and gives me peace as well.
Hey guys, it's Raksha Bandhan today, and I'm really happy. And I'm gonna wake my sister up.
Family is really important to Hindus, and once a year we celebrate the love between brothers and sisters at a festival called Raksha Bandhan.
Wake up! It's Raksha Bandhan. Happy Raksha Bandhan.
The word Raksha means protection, and Bandhan means tie. To celebrate that we're brother and sister, I tie a Rakhi to Vraj. Once it's tied, it's Vraj's duty to protect me.
Like any other brothers and sisters, we argue.
Wait, what are you doing?
And today's a little bit different because we have a day where brothers and sisters are meant to do things together, like once without fighting. Look, my nail just fell in.
I've come shopping with my friend Bhargavi to buy Vraj's Rakhi.
The Rakhis have developed in a massive, massive way. Traditionally, it used to be basically a very thin cotton. If that was available, the sister would actually try and sort of, create something out of that. And now the amount you'll see, the colors you'll see, the extent you'll see, it is so fantastic. You just think, wow.
Vraj has to wear his Rakhi until Raksha Bandhan next year, so I have to choose one he'll like.
I think this is the one. I think Vraj will like this because it's his favourite god.
Raksha Bandhan is a really important day for us. We dress up in our best traditional clothes.
Tying Vraj's Rakhi on with these nails, don't think it's going to work out.
The story of Raksha Bandhan is told in the Hindu scriptures. The god Vishnu had gone to live with King Bali. Vishnu's wife Lakshmi was sad about this, so she visited King Bali and tied a Rakhi to him. When he asked her what she would like in return, she asked him to let her husband come home.
The whole meaning is about the king who was such a generous king, who used to give anything that people asked of him. And that's how the brothers should become generous as well, and the whole world should be generous.
I put a tilak on Vraj's forehead. It's made from water, rice and red powder. The tilak represents good fortune. As I tie Vraj's Rakhi, I say a prayer asking God to keep him happy and healthy in the year ahead. I then feed Raj a sweet.
Tastes kind of like apple crumble.
Raj is younger than me, so out of respect, he touches my feet.
Be successful. Happy Raksha Bandhan.
It's not all about Raj though, and in return for his Rakhi, I get a gift too.
Yay! Woo! Nail polish.
If you don't have a brother, you can still celebrate at Raksha Bandhan. You can give a Rakhi to your cousins or friends.
Raj will carry out his duties to protect me by being there when I'm in trouble, or even if I'm not, and he has kind of like the sense that I am, he'd hopefully be there at the right time.
Hindus believe life is a cycle of birth, death and rebirth, and every action we make has an effect. This action is called karma. Karma can be good or bad. We get good karma if we're kind, but bad karma if we're selfish. This good or bad karma impacts how I will live in my next life on earth. If I'm really good, I hope to be freed from the cycle of rebirth.
The actual process of that sort of, going round and round, you may actually alter your state, or physical state, but your spiritual matter remains the same. So you may be a human being, you may be an insect, you may be an animal, you may be a tree, and it goes all the way until you have learned what you wanted to learn and you asked to learn from God.
The cycle of life is not a simple idea. Karma works in many ways and the soul might be reincarnated thousands of times. Raj loves drawing and has drawn a picture to show his understanding of karma.
Here is a cycle of rebirth of bad karma. You start off with a baby, then you turn into a child, then you turn into an adult, then an elderly, and then you would go around again. And if God thinks that you've not been a very well-behaved person, then you would be turned into an animal. And on this one, it's the opposite. This one's good karma. It's same. And if God thinks you've been a really good person, you turn back into a baby.
There is an end to the cycle of death and rebirth. It's called moksha. It's reached by always trying to be the best we can be.
That is the core of them being the Hindu person, because they put it into practice every day of their life.
If you get to moksha, you'd be one with God and you feel really good. It just tells me that I should always do good and I'll improve and my next life will be better.
The cycle of rebirth affects how we think about death. After death, most Hindus are cremated. This symbolizes the quick release of the soul to begin its next life. Traditionally, ashes are scattered in a river, like the River Soar in Leicester.
I think it's special being here, as we in Hinduism believe that a river flows, and so do our lives. So we have our ashes sprinkled into this water because we Hindus want our lives to flow on.
Hemang is a Hindu priest and he helps families after the death of a loved one.
Why is it important that we return to a river after death?
We believe that river is the life source of our life because majority of our body is made of water. So we give ashes and final essence to the water. That's why we come to a river.
As a priest, what do you enjoy most about bringing families here?
It's a big grief, and I'm finding that my job helps them a little bit towards understanding that they have not died, but they have passed away. There is a big difference. They will get a new life. So we believe that death is a new beginning.
In India, Hindus traditionally scattered ashes in the river Ganges, but there are many rivers outside of India that can be used as well.
All our rivers are equally sacred. That's the general idea of the faith, that all rivers are created equal in the eyes of God. And we have a mantra to prove that as well. Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram. All rivers merge eventually in one connection.
Just as a person puts on new clothes and gets rid of the older ones, the soul also takes on new bodies according to its karma.
Rivers are holy places for Hindus, and we believe bathing in them removes bad karma. The most famous bathing ceremony is the Kumbh Mela. It takes place in India in the river Ganges. Up to 40 million people come to be purified in the water. That's 5 times the people living in London. It's the biggest gathering of humans on Earth.
The atmosphere is so fantastic. Everybody is so high on energy, and it feels like you're opening the doors to heaven and entering heaven itself.
This type of gathering is called a pilgrimage. A pilgrimage is a journey people take to get closer to God. It's something all Hindus try to do at least once in their lifetime if they can. Rivers, mountains and temples linked to different gods and goddesses are all popular places to visit. I've been on pilgrimage to Shirdi, the home of a late Hindu guru.
This is the god that we worshipped. His name is Sai Baba. We saw him in white stone.
Many of my friends have been on pilgrimage too.
I went to Borsad to see the temple of the sun god. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining on the temple and it was really bright. I couldn't see. I had to keep my eyes squinted as well. I felt really close to God, and I thought to myself, wow, like there's a God for the sun, and like we should pray to the sun god to give us light and make the day beautiful every day.
I went to Ambaji when I was about 10. It's like a big mountain. You have to climb about 1,000 steps. It's so tiring and it's so hot. When you get there, it's so satisfying when you see Ambaji Ma.
Pilgrimage isn't just a holiday. It's a spiritual experience, and we should remember that when we get home.
I go every morning outside on the street and pour water and say Om Suryaya Namaha until the water is finished. So you pray to the sun god and say that, oh, thank you for giving us light yesterday, and could you give us more light today and make the day beautiful again.
When I look at these souvenirs again, it brings back really, really good memories, and it also reminds me of how close I was to God and how beautiful the place was.
When you come back, it's how you're treated. My parents treated us like kings and queens. They will bow to our feet. They say that you've been to heaven and you've come back. You become compassionate towards people. You start understanding people around you. You start respecting their ways of life and understanding their values.
In Hinduism, marriage is a duty and weddings are very special occasions. They also tend to be very big. When I was younger, I went to my auntie's wedding in India. It was a huge celebration.
Hindu weddings are attended by so many people because it's not just 2 families coming together, but it's 2 whole communities coming together, and that's why there were so many people at my auntie's wedding.
A Hindu wedding takes lots of planning because there are so many guests. Nikki and Hemal are busy getting ready for their big day.
I'm really excited about the whole family getting together, everyone dancing away, food.
I'm happy to bring a wife into this family. I mean, to know that I'm spending the rest of my life with the woman I love, you can't beat that.
Before a Hindu wedding, the bride celebrates with her friends and family. This is called a Mendi party. At the party, the bride and her guests have patterns drawn on their hands and feet using a special dye called henna.
I had my henna done. It did tickle at first, and I got to choose my own pattern. I liked the henna that was done on me.
Once the henna is applied, it takes a few hours for the colour to develop, so you have to be patient.
The darker the colour it is, it shows that the husband loves me more.
The wedding often takes place under a canopy called a mandap. Traditionally, mandaps were decorated with leaves, but modern mandaps come in lots of styles.
The reason we have it is so it keeps the good energy in and the bad energy out. We want good things to happen in the family, not bad things.
To welcome the groom to the wedding, a number of rituals are carried out by the bride's family. There's lots of fun traditions at Hindu weddings. Hemal has his shoes stolen by the bride's family. After the ceremony, he'll have to pay to get them back. Hemal's face is hidden so he doesn't see Nikki before the ceremony. Nikki is wearing a traditional Indian dress called a sari. It's white and red, representing purity and fertility. Hemal and Nikki are treated like a king and queen for the day. Rituals take place symbolizing Hemal and Nikki's love for each other, to protect them from harm and to show their lives are now joined together. The priest lights the holy fire and a mantra is said about family. Nikki and Hemal then walk around the sacred fire 4 times.
Sit down.
Hemal draws a sindoor on Nikki's head and gives her a special necklace. Both show a woman is married. The next part of the ceremony might look unusual, but it's really important. Each nut represents a different quality that a couple need in their new life together. In some weddings, these qualities are represented by the couple taking 7 steps together.
People enjoy Hindu weddings because they get to take pictures with the bride and groom. And they get to meet new people, make new friends.
Whether in the UK or in India, weddings bring families and communities together, and it's a great reason to celebrate.
Hi guys, it's Holly today, and we are really excited. We just don't look it because we've just woken up.
Holi marks the start of spring and celebrates new life. It's a fun time for families and the whole community comes together.
Holi is the most exciting festival in the Hindu calendar because you get to throw paint at people.
Whilst the festival is lots of fun, there is an important religious message at the heart of it. During Holi, we celebrate good overcoming evil and remember the story of Prince Prahlad. Prahlada's father, the king, wanted everyone in his kingdom to worship him, but Prahlad refused and worshipped the god Vishnu instead. The king's sister, Holika, had a fireproof shawl, so she tricked Prahlad into sitting on her lap in a bonfire. She wanted to destroy him, but her shawl flew from her and protected Prahlad instead. Her plan failed. Prahlad came through the fire unharmed and Holika was destroyed by the flames. To remember this story, bonfires are lit during Holi. The bonfires purify the air of anything evil.
Hindus have a very great emphasis on fire because fire is thought to be the image of God that we can see.
Offerings such as popcorn, coconut and chickpeas are put into the fire. And people give thanks to God for the elements, without which the crops wouldn't grow.
We're offering something that you've already given to us, God, because if you had not created all this on earth, we wouldn't be able to eat it. So we're thanking you by offering our first crop to you.
The coconut, I'm going to give this in so they can put it into the bonfire, and in return I'm going to get a burnt one.
Holi is also known as the Festival of Colour. People throw coloured paints at one another. It's lots of fun. Some people believe this originates with Krishna, who was a very playful boy, and threw coloured water over milkmaids.
It was really fun. We love running around with our friends and we love throwing colours at each other.
The best thing about Holi is that there are no rules. We're allowed to hit anyone, anywhere.
And you actually won't get told off for it.
God has created colour to make the world a beautiful place to live in. And so colours are thrown saying we need to make our lives colourful. We need to forget and forgive any misgivings we've had in the past, and you move forward.
Each colour represents the virtue of the soul. Red is power, orange is purity, green is love. I'm not sure what colour's on my face, but it feels as though there's a lot of it. Throwing paint at Raj feels good.
I can get her back
Diwali is the Hindu festival of light.
3, 2, 1, switch on!
Diwali celebrates light over darkness and the hope that good will happen.
So Diva meaning light, and Diwali bit is the whole row of lights. And the whole point is you must actually have light in your life to see anything and to move anywhere.
At Diwali, we remember the story of Rama and Sita, who were sent away for 14 years, and the celebration that took place when they returned.
The whole of the kingdom decides this is our time to rejoice, so let's light it up. But it doesn't stop there. The whole meaning for human beings is if you let God into your life, then it is going to be lit up.
Diwali is celebrated every year in the autumn. It marks the start of the Hindu New Year and we celebrate new beginnings. We spring clean our homes, wear new clothes and exchange gifts. My brother Reg and I are busy getting ready.
The worst chore is probably cleaning the hob.
I don't really mind sweeping the floor up. It came off.
On Diwali, it's important for Hindus to clean because we have visitors coming around and we want to make a good impression of ourselves. Let's show you what we're going to wear, our newest clothes. So that's what I'm going to wear, and that's what Raj is going to wear. There we go, done. And this is how Raj looks.
As well as friends and family, we hope Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, will visit. We want her to bless us with good fortune for the year ahead. To invite Lakshmi into our homes, we decorate our doorsteps with Rangoli patterns.
It's fun because it's just like colouring, but actually we're spraying with our own hands instead of using the work of a crayon. When Lakshmi comes, she would see our artwork and she would be impressed with it. Hopefully we've done it good.
To guide Lakshmi into our homes, we light candles.
Most people would keep their doors wide open to say that because you're the god of wealth and because we love you loads, you can just step inside like it's your own home and you don't need to knock on the door or anything. It's your house, so you can just walk in.
At Diwali, homes and streets are decorated with rows of lights. It's an exciting time. I meet with my family and friends, and the Hindu community comes together in a huge celebration.
The fireworks are used on Diwali because of the lights and how bright they shine.
My hopes for the new year would be to be a better person.
To get my grades.
Also share with others.
Behave nicely.
Take care of people, not only me.
And hopefully keep my mood right.